welcome to Stamp Designs with Denise. I'm Denise Johnson, an independent demonstrator for Stamping Up, coming to you from Bedford, New Hampshire. So thank you for joining me today, either live or watching me on replay. I really appreciate the support. If you want to comment, ask questions, I always respond. If you could give me a thumbs up and like my videos, I'd really appreciate it. It helps me to keep bringing you these videos for free and sharing my creativity with you. So it's Thanksgiving this week, so I have a lot to be thankful for. And I realize that in these times, it's been difficult for many people, and especially being isolated can be very hard. So I'm hoping that you're watching this video and you're finding some inspiration in my cards, and it's inspiring you to make your own and to get out there and do something that you love, because I love stamping. So thank you for being a part of my stamping family. This week, today is Monday the 23rd, November 23rd, and tomorrow is a big, huge sale that Stamping Up is having in their annual catalog. So they do have a mini catalog out, which is the July to December 2020 mini catalog. Yes, it's a mouthful. And the items in that are not for sale. So this is the annual catalog, and almost everything in here is going to be 10% off tomorrow. There is a list of exclusions. I have posted that on this video, and I've also will post it on my blog, so you can print this out, look at it, and see what is excluded. There's not a lot, but there are some things, you know, Paper Pumpkin subscription, there's pumpkin pie, stamp pads and cardstock and refills. I think they must just be back ordered on that, which is probably why it's on the list, because I don't see any other papers, cardstocks that are on here, except for the Whisper White and the Very Vanilla are on here. And all the markers are on here. I know those are back ordered, and some of them are back ordered actually for a couple months. I think that they're having a problem getting those from China. Due to the COVID and stuff, some factories are making other products rather than Stampin' Up products. Can you believe that? But so some of the storage items are excluded. The Stays On inks, the Black Memento inks. Let's see, there's a lot of the adhesive type stuff, the glue pen, the dots, liquid glue, Stampin' Seal, but punches, the tag topper punches, and some other things. But like I said, you know, if you're interested, print this out and you'll get the list of what's excluded. But compared to what's on sale, there's very little excluded. To be able to get like a whole entire suite at 10% off is just fantastic. It's a really great sale. So I am actually going to make 3 cards today from this catalog. This catalog used to be called the Catalog and Idea Book, and it's a great resource for making cards, just copying right out of the catalog and make your cards from that. I've done this before. I think I've done another video where I did that, and so we're going to be doing that today. I know I've been making a lot of holiday type cards. We started with Halloween, we did a bunch of Thanksgiving, and Christmas. I've been making tons and tons of Christmas cards because that's going to be upon us very fast, and we need to get our cards in the mail. But today I'm going all flowers. We're not doing any holiday cards. We're doing cards from our annual catalog. And if you are still interested in Christmas, there are Christmas stamps in this holiday catalog that will be on sale. Like I said, the mini catalog is not on sale, but there's plenty of holiday stamps in here that if you want to get at the 10% off, then you should definitely look at this. There is a link to the catalog if you don't have one of your own online, and you can view it online. And so I am going to get us flipped around, and we're going to get started making some cards. Okay, let let me get you all lined up. I'm actually gonna just double check that I am live. I think I saw that my friend Vicky is on with us. So if Vicky's on, that means yes, I am live, but I like to have it on just so I'm sure I'm staying in my camera frame. So it looks like we are. So just a few quick reminders that the Curvy celebrations have come out early. This will be available in January, but it's available now. They released it early. And then the Curvy Christmas and the Classic Christmas Designer Series paper is only available till the end of December. And then Paper Pumpkin, the Berry Comforting Paper Pumpkin for December is available to subscribe to until December 10th. Okay, so as I said, we're being inspired today by our annual catalog. And Stampin' Up! Used to put all sort of the recipes for their cards in the back of their catalog, but their catalog was getting too big. And so now they don't include that in the catalog, but they do provide demonstrators the file, which lists page by page every project and then the products that they used. They don't give specific measurements for like how big, what size each of the papers should be cut. So I sort of just estimated that and did that myself. But they do give you like techniques that they've used on this card. This one that we're going to make has sponging, stamping on the Designer Series paper, and fussy cutting. And then there are some few instructions. The person that designed this card said they sponge the flowers with Rococo Rose and Petal Pink, and then they fussy cut it. So it's sort of just a basic recipe, not as detailed as some of with the measurements as I put on my blog. So I will put all of the exact measurements on my blog when I'm finished today. But so this is what we're gonna use as our guidelines. So I really liked this card. It's part of the In Good Taste suite, and this is what we're gonna make today. And so I printed out just this one page. Believe it or not, this file is actually longer and bigger than the actual catalog. So I didn't print out the whole thing. I just printed off the specific pages that I needed. So if there's anything on the catalog that you see a picture of that you really like and you're inspired by and you want to know what the products are, you can certainly reach out to me. Let me know what page it's on, and I can let you know what that recipe is. So our first card, as I said, is going to be using the In Good Taste suite. So part of that is this Tasteful Touches stamp set. We're going to use the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. And let's see, what else do I have? I have some linen thread. We have some sponge daubers that we're going to use to color in our flower. We also have these In Good Taste elements, which are some wooden elements that we're going to add to our card. And then the inks we're going to use are Gray Granite, Petal Pink, Old Olive, Early Espresso. And then those are coming right from here where they told me the colors they used on their card. So I have my card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let me just move this stuff out of the way. Give myself some room to work. And then this is a piece of the Designer Series paper, and this is 5.5 by 4 1/4. Now this is actually going to cover the whole entire front of the card. Usually I make it a little bit smaller layer, like 1/4 inch on each side, so that you can see the white behind. But the card, as they had it in the catalog, covers the whole entire front of this card base. So we're not going to have the edge of the Whisper White. And then I have another piece of that Designer Series paper, and I believe this is 1 1/2. So this is 1 1/2 by 4 1/4. I have a sheet of scrap paper, Whisper White, and then my sentiment is going to go on this Whisper White. It is 7/8 of an inch wide, and I have an envelope that we're going to decorate at the end. So let's get this done. So we'll start with stamping on our Designer Series paper. So I have some stamps. So this is sort of a filigree type pattern. We're going to do that in the gray granite. And again, I'm going right off the picture in the catalog, and I'm just copying what's on that. So I do want to make sure, because this pink piece of paper is going to come over the top, I'm just going to leave it sort of here on the side to kind of eyeball and give me an idea of how low I want to go on my stamping to make sure that it shows. So I'll stamp that one there. This one's going to go there. And that's done with the gray granite. And now, using the old olive, we'll add some of this greenery. Sometimes there are layouts that I see in the catalog that I like. I don't have that specific stamp set, but I use it I use the layout and use a different stamp set with it. So now I'm going to attach this on the top, because we have the stamping on our Designer Series papers done. So let's put this here. And then we have the twine is wrapped around it, and there's a bow. So probably need about 14 to 15 inches. Okay. I lost that on the floor. It's all unraveled on me, so I'll be picking that and cleaning that up later. So sometimes it's hard if you don't have a third or fourth hand here to get this nice and tight. So I'm going to show you a little trick. So see, it's a little floppy in the front. So I come into the back and I tighten it on the back. And I put a little bit of tape. And tape each side, pull it nice and taut, and then put a little tape and hold it in place. And so see, now the back has that sort of wobbly piece, but the front is now nice and tight and straight, and I don't have that sagging piece in the front. So that's a little tip for when you're tying your ribbon all the way around. So now we have the flowers that we're going to do, and I'm going to stamp those on a scrap piece of paper, and those are stamped in Early Espresso. We'll just put them right down here on the bottom. And now the technique they said they used was sponging, and they had the Stampin' spots, the sponge daubers listed as their tools. So we're going to use the Rococo Rose, And I'm going to I'm going to do it off a little bit first just to soften it. So start off light and then you can add more color as you go. So I'm just sort of daubing right here in the middle of this. And adding some color. It's not going to fill the whole thing in. And then now that I've got my sort of centers done with that darker color, I'm going to move to the lighter petal pink. And I've got a new dauber. And I'm just going to lightly go around and add just some light pink to that. And then what I'll do when I'm done with these is I just take them into the sink and rinse them off and let them air dry. And then they're ready for a different color. So there. So bring it up so you can see it a little bit closer. So I've just added some light color, the Rococo Rose in the middle, and then the petal pink just around the edges a little bit. And let me look at my sample here and see what my next, so I want to do my sentiment. I'll get all the stamping done. And we have the You Are So Special sentiment, which is from that stamp set. And it looks like that is stamped in the Rococo Rose. So that's pretty good. I did it pretty straight. Remember, there's always two sides to your paper, so if you don't get it as straight as you'd like, flip it over and use the other side. That's why I always give myself such a long piece, so that if I mess it up the first time, I can have more scrap paper to play with and get it the way I want it. Okay, so I just trim that with my paper snips, and then we want to cut these out with our paper snips, and I've already done that so that you don't have to watch me cutting them out on video. And let's get our card out here. So now the rest of these I'm going to attach. My flowers are going to go here, and I'm going to attach those with dimensionals so that they're popped up. And they just go here and here. And then I have some glue dots, and I'm going to put those on these wooden elements. So let's see, I'm going to take out one short leaf and two of the longer leaves. And one side sort of has a little bit of a embossing here down on it, so I'm going to turn them over to the back side because I want that extra embellishment on the front. Let me get my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm kind of going to scrunch them up so that they fit on these wooden pieces and they're not going to show through the front. So just sort of folding them over in half and putting them on my elements. Try not to stick them all together. Okay, so then we're just going to tuck these in, because this one goes behind here based on our picture. And Oh, I did that the wrong way. I think I want the shorter one on the front. Tuck this one back here. Put this one here. And then we'll tuck this one in here. And now our sentiment, I'm going to use the seal on. And that just comes right across here on the middle. Now let's attach that to our card base. Now, because this covers the whole entire thing, I'm going to start by lining it up here on this edge. And there's our card. So let's get our envelope decorated. So I'm going to get that flower out again. And I want to stamp that actually in the Rococo Rose, but I'm going to, it had the early espresso on it, so I need to clean it first before I put it in my pink. So let's get this. I'm going to stamp this right in the center of the back of the envelope. What a pretty flower. I really like that flower. And then on the front of the envelope, I'm going to do some of this little bit of this greenery. There we go. So there we go. How do you think I did? Looks just like the card in the catalog. Okay, let me just move some of this stuff out of the way. And we will move on to the next card I have picked out of the catalog to make. Okay, let's set this one aside so we have it at the end to show again. And I'm going to go to page 115 in the catalog, and I'm going to use this beautiful friendship stamp set. And so this is one of the distinctive stamp sets. And let me read to you what it says. A distinctive stamps creates different opacities in a single stamped image for realistic depth and intensity. So this is one of my favorite sets. I love the hydrangea and the roses, and it makes some beautiful images when you stamp with it. So this is the card here that I'm going to make, and then this is the recipe that I printed off from it. So techniques are stamps, ink, and paper. And it also tells you what your crafter level on this. So this is a casual. The last one we made was Avid because it had some embellishments and the sponging technique and all that. So this one is more of a casual type card, it's saying. So it should be a little bit easier for your beginner stamper to start with. So let me get out my supplies. We're using this Rococo Rose ink again. My card base is crumb cake, and it's 8.5 by 5.5. Oh yes, one of the elements that it said that it used in here was the Forever Gold Laser Cut Specialty Paper. And I actually did not have that, but that would be these little elements right in here. I don't know if you can see it on here. I do not have the laser cut paper, so I am going to substitute it with these little leafy elements from my sunflower dies, and I cut them on the vellum cardstock. So this is what they look like rather than that laser cut paper. So I used my Stampin' Cut and emboss machine, and I die cut those out. And then we have a label. I made two in case I messed up, and that comes from the Tasteful Label dies. So that's that one right there, and this is in Whisper White. This is our stamp set. And then I have two pieces of Whisper White. They are 5 1/4 by 4. One's going to go on the outside of our card, and the other one's going to be for the inside of our card. And then I have a Whisper White envelope. So let's do our stamping here and get my stamps out. We're also going to be using some of this Rococo Rose scalloped linen ribbon. So using my picture as my guide, we're going to start with the big flowers first. Should always start when you're doing sort of a background stamp like this, you should always start with your largest image first, because then it's easier to add smaller elements around the largest image. So I'm going to ink up this rose. Do one here, and then do one there. So you can see this distinctive stamp. It sort of gives you that, it's got lighter colors and darker colors, so it's almost like the two-step stamping where you do one stamp and you stamp off, and then you do a lighter stamp. So you get this all now in one stamp rather than doing the two steps. Okay, let's set that one aside. I'm going to keep that because I think I'm going to use that to decorate our envelope with. And then we have the leaves, which we're going to do in crumb cake. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough. I think I'm getting a little fall cold. So I'm just going to stick my leaves right on either side here. Put that one aside. And then I have this, I'm not familiar with all these different types of flowers, but we're going to use Rich Razzleberry on this. Don't know what their names are, so we'll add this in here. And then we'll add some over here. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment in crumb cake. And this is our label that I die cut. So this is in crumb cake. There, we've got that. So let's start layering this. Now this is going to go here, but remember those elements I cut out with the vellum. So we're going to add those sort of coming off on either side here. So I'm going to put a couple pieces of this tear and tape on the back of my sentiment label. These are nice and strong, so it's going to hold when I stick that vellum. It's going to hold it in place for me, because then I'm going to attach a ribbon on the back as well. So wait, let me look at my picture. Yeah, I think my ribbon actually goes on first. So they actually don't have the pink side showing. They've used just the back linen side. So I'm going to put that on like that. So I thought that was an interesting way that they did this, rather than having the pink Rococo Rose side. They did it like this. So now let me add some more of this tape so we can get those vellum pieces attached. So take your pick tool is really great at lifting up those, as long as you just get the tape and not the whole thing. There we go. Okay, so I kind of want to this is going to come down off of here, so that's going to come down off the bottom of that one, and then this will go up off of this. There we go. And then I'm going to, so see, that stuck very nicely to that tear and tape on the back, and then I'm going to add some dimensionals here so I can get this on my card. And then that goes right in the middle. And we will attach that to our card base of crumb cake. Okay, now I did have a piece of the Whisper White that I'm going to do on the inside, so let's decorate that. I think for this I'm just going to use that Ritual Razzleberry with this stamp set. Just sort of going to come up in the corners. With that, and then we will do our envelope. And I have that rose. So I'm not going to do the whole thing, we'll just do a little bit of it here in the corner of the front of our card. And then let's see, the whole thing does fit on the back flap envelope. So we'll do that back here. So I really like the look of that distinctive stamping. And let's get this on the inside. So there we go. So it doesn't look exactly like our picture because I didn't have those laser cut specialty paper, but it's pretty close. I used what I actually did have and I got the card made. So pretty pleased with how that turned out. Let me clean up my mess and we will get onto our last card. Okay, let's set this one aside. And so our last card is going to be on page 117. It's this Field of Flowers. And so this is the card we're going to make here. I like the bright colors. And, you know, as I said in the beginning, I've been doing so many holiday cards with red and green and that sort of thing that this really caught my eye and I thought it would be fun to do. So the techniques here are other, so the instructions were stamp the floral images and blend with water painters. So we'll talk about that. And then as again, it listed all my supplies that they used. So let me get out my bucket and we'll go through. So these are the water painters. These are new this year. They have some different tips than the ones they've had previously. So this is more like a big fat paintbrush. And then these two have more of the pointy paintbrush type. So a smaller one and then the larger one. And then all you do with these is they unscrew and you fill this base with some water. And they're great for watercoloring. So I have water in this one, so I'm going to use this one. Okay, so for this we have a base, a Bermuda Bay. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of the shimmery white paper. And I don't use this very much. And when they said that they used this on the card, I took it out and I don't know why I don't use it more because it has this really cool shimmer to it. And everybody knows I love the sparkle. So I am going to definitely leave this out on my desk and start using it a lot more. So I don't know if you can see that on the video or not. This is a piece of our Whisper White. And then this is the shimmer white. So you may not be able to see it on the video, which is disappointing because it really does have this cool shimmer to it. So the Whisper White piece, they're both sized 5 1/4 by 4. The Whisper White's going to go on the inside of our card, and then the shimmer one is the one we're going to use on the front. And the reason we're using this is because it's great for the water painting. I have a piece of scrap Petal Pink, and then I also have Petal Pink that I cut out using these stitch nested label dies, which is, as you can see from the picture, is where our sentiment is going to go. I have a scrap piece of Coastal Cabana, which is also going to be for our sentiment. And then I have an envelope. And then this is our stamp set. So let me get out, let's see, what else are we using in here? This Field of Flowers can be bundled, and it comes with this, in the bundle, confetti flower border punch is what this is. So it just punches out these flowers, which actually has a coordinating stamp. Let me see, I thought it coordinated. Maybe not, maybe I'm lying. So we'll have to try that and see. And then we're also going to use some of these woven threads, sequins. So those are all our stamps. These are going to be our ink colors: Coastal Cabana, Crushed Curry, Melon Mambo, and Terracotta Tile. I have a fine tip glue pen, which I'm going to use when I attach my sequins. And then we also have one of the in color Stampin' Right markers in Terracotta Tile. So this was listed on the supplies that they used, and the reason I think it's hard to tell on the card, but I think they did some flicking with it. And so I'm going to show you on a scrap piece of paper what that looks like. And you're going to want to practice this a little bit. And if you get too hard or too rough, it's going to ruin the tip of your paper. So basically what they're doing is they're using the cap of the pen and they're using the brush side of your marker. And you're kind of going to flick it towards your paper. And you're going to want to practice this before you do it, just to make sure. But so as you can see, it does these little splatters on the paper. So that's what it would look like. So I think it looks like that is what they did on this card. So I'm actually going to do that first on my card so that if I mess it up, I can flip it over and I haven't got all my other stamping done first. So I kind of hold it down closer to the paper. And then just flick it like that. So that's what the marker is, and then you can see I've got these little splatters all over my card from that. And okay, so let us start with our stamping. So based on our picture, I'm going to start with the larger flowers, and those are in the Terracotta Tile. And again, this is my label. It's going to come off a little bit here. So I kind of want to eyeball where it's going to be so that I can make sure that I get these flowers positioned correctly. So put those there. These will be down here. Okay, that one's done. So let's do our Melon Mambo flower next. So again, I'm just kind of copying the placement and everything that's on my card there. Okay, set that aside. I might want that later to decorate the envelope or the inside with. Okay, now I'm doing these other little flowers. So let's do them in the Crushed Curry first. They're the same flowers that are also in that Coastal Cabana color. So we'll sort of do these first. And then I'm going to clean my stamp set. And do them in the Coastal Cabana. So I think the chamois are 10% off tomorrow. So I am going to buy myself a new chamois. Not that there's anything wrong with my old one, but it'd be nice to have a nice, clean, virgin chamois to use. Of course, it gets pretty inky pretty fast, but I did rinse it out fully before I started this, and some of the stains just don't come out. Okay, so now the Coastal Cabana, and we're just going in and adding these blue flowers like that. And let me get all my stamping done. So I'm going to do the sentiment. I need this for, let's see, we're going to do this on the Coastal Cabana on Coastal Cabana. And this says a celebration. So I just put that down in the corner, and I'm gonna hand cut that out. So there we go. Put this here, hopefully I won't lose it. And then our other sentiment is in the Melon Mambo, and it's on this. Now this is always, and it's got dot, 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 but I don't want the dot, 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 dot. So I'm gonna just try and ink it up on the edge here without getting the dots. And then if you do get a little bit of ink, you can always come back in with a wet Q-tip and just kind of dry them off, and it takes the ink off for you. And let's stamp this. Hopefully this worked. Okay, pretty straight. It's always a good day when I can stamp it straight. And so I'm going to add, let me see, just a little bit of glue to this. And attach that. Well, a lot of glue. Okay. Paper towel. Okay. So let's look at this. So this is going to go here, and then we're going to trim it off. And so it said that on our directions that the images were stamped and then blended with the water painter. So let me get my paper towel out again. So with my water painter, you want to just squeeze it and get some water out. You don't want it too wet. And then I think, based on how they look, it just sort of softened these colors. And paint it around. So I don't know. I can't seem to be getting water out of this now. Okay. So this could be a personal preference on whether you like this look or you like the cleaner, just stamped image look. So I think I'm just going to do those ones. I'm not going to do the smaller ones. And then, so it also has these little flowers. So I'm using the petal pink, and we're going to punch some of these out. So see, you can make this and just use it as a border down the side of your card, but we're actually using the actual punches and going to put those on. So I'm going to attach my sentiment first with some dimensionals. It's too close to the edge because we are going to trim off that edge. Okay. So put that there, and then with my scissors, I come right down the side and trim that. And then I'm going to get some glue dots in it. Add some of these to the front of the card. One stuck to my finger. And then for the woven threads sequins, I'm going to put a few drops of the glue. So this is nice because it has a very, very tiny opening, so you can just use a little bit and just get little drops on your card. And I'm using the putty side of my Take Your Pick tool. And adding my sequins. If I can see where I put my glue dots now. There we go. I think I got them all covered. Okay. So that adds a little bit of sparkle to this card. So the other thing I liked about this card was the way it was attached to the front. So again, it's a different layering technique. Normally, I would have put it, you know, right in the middle and had a nice even border all the way around, but they actually have mounted it right up against the front corner and left a bigger border around that way. So let's add some adhesive, and I probably should have attached it first and then put my sequins on because they are still a little bit wet and I don't want to have them fall off. So anyways, I opened my card up again. I'm going to line it up on this side again and do it this way, which seems to work the best for me. And there we go. So that is our card. And now let's get the inside and the envelope decorated. I'm gonna put my glue away so it doesn't dry out. So let's see, we have some of these blue flowers. So this is the inside of the card. So maybe we'll just do some of these on either corner. And I kept out that larger flower with the melon mambo. And we'll throw some of these on. And then we'll just do the same thing for our envelope. Oh, mixed my colors. Let me get this cleaned off. Sometimes you get in such a rhythm that you just lose track. Okay. Melon Mambo, there we go. Okay, let's get this all cleaned up. So I hope you found some inspiration from the catalog with what I've shown you. And like I said, if you're interested in the recipes for any of these cards or projects that you see in here, you're wondering what colors they used or what that particular die cut came from, please reach out to me, ask me. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to provide you with the information. And of course, don't forget that tomorrow is the Merry and Bright Online Extravaganza. 10% off everything in the annual catalog with a few exclusions. So it's a really great way actually to stock up on some of that card stock, or if there's a suite that you've had your eye on and you want the whole suite, 10% off, you can't beat it. And let me bring in all of our, okay, so just to compare, that's the card in the catalog and that's the card I made. So let's bring in our other cards. Here we go. This was the beautiful friendship card in our envelope. And then this is the card we made with the In Good Taste suite of products and our matching envelope. So if you're placing an order for under $150, please use my November host code. I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions about the sale, you need any help, please, please, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help you, happy to answer your questions in any way that I can. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're sharing it with those closest to you, have a wonderful time. Please be safe. And remember, always leave a little sparkle wherever you go.